Scott?
I know someone else will ask about Jordan Staal, so I'll leave that. But I wondered if you could talk a bit about where Kenny Malkin's game is right now, and maybe sort of assess what you would like to see from him as the season moves into the second half.
Whoever's going to ask the Jordan Staal question, whoever that might be, he'll be game time decision. That's where he'll go. Kenny Malkin, I think this has been his best probably 4 or 5 games away from the puck. I think he's working very hard. He's working hard defensively. He's playing the game the right way. And the disappointing part is he's created for himself and his line 5 or 6 golden scoring opportunities in the games, the last few games, and hasn't reaped the rewards. A couple of them have been breakaways in the Washington game. He's had in the Ottawa game, he had a couple of point-blank chances all alone. Didn't get the puck to go in, and like to see that happen for him. But I think he's playing really well away from the puck, and it's been contagious for our team and the players out there with him that he's focusing on that part of his game, and has helped us out a lot in that area.
Stay on the right side, Brian.
Dan, this matchup always seems to find Ovechkin at the top of this game. Just wondering, as a coaching staff, is there anything you can do to change that dynamic?
Well, a lot of the success that we've seen Alex have against us is off the rush, coming off the wing, dancing on our defenseman and getting that shot, batting that shot on net. And the best thing we can do, we think having our tracking forwards come back and limiting those rush opportunities, pushing that rush into our defense. But we keep preaching, and something we've worked really hard on this year is having a good gap and snuffing that out before it gets to that dangerous position where he can find himself in at the top of the circles or below. And last game we were fairly successful at that, and it's a tall task, and it's not something that one guy can do or just a shutdown pair. It's a responsibility of the forwards and the defense together, but something we're definitely trying to do. And then where he's at on the power play is always an issue. He was at the net before he played us, and last game against us he moved out to more of a one-time position where we've seen him score some goals from. Something we have to be aware of.
Rob, Kevin.
Dan, 2 quick ones. One, what would go into a game time decision about Staal? And 2, the stuff that was said on the 24/7 episode about Malkin by their coaching staff, is that something you would think is an accurate statement about him, that he can be taken out of his game if you hit him? And also, would that be something you would want him to look at, having somebody say that about him?
Let's see, there are 3 questions there, correct?
3 quick ones.
I'm not going to tell you on the first. Yes, I think he's going to see that, and that's not the first time that we've talked about that being something that teams have tried to do, and then our response to that as well. And I know, the Capitals and Bruce paid Sidney a compliment, but we've also said that to Sid at times, especially when playoffs roll around, that those are areas of the game that teams try to target and go after, and we're aware of them. I think it's a compliment. I think it's a compliment that they think that's what they have to do to get you off your game. It's something we have to be aware of, and in Gino's case has to get better at the response, but they don't come after Craig Adams.
Kevin.
Yeah, Dan, there's some uncertainty about how it's going to play out tomorrow, but there's a possibility you guys could be sitting in the dressing room kind of waiting through a rain delay like baseball players do. They're accustomed to that, hockey players are not. What would you say to them to help them prepare for that?
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully we have a little more information as we get closer to the game and the weather, but hockey players go through a good 35, 40-minute warm-up to get to the warm-up. And the warm-up's a little anticlimactic, so it is an issue with us in that scenario that you're talking about, where you might have to warm up and then might not play, and then you got to cool down and then you got to warm back up again. I think that mentally that could be an issue if it dragged out for a couple of hours. But you know, we're going to be prepared for that situation, and every player, I think, is going to understand that they're going to have to restart at a certain point. If we do get into that situation, we're not going to be able to control that. We are ready for it. We've discussed it, and you know, we've also said our prayers to make sure we get off at the right time tomorrow as well.
Shelley, go ahead. I got you guys, right?
Dan, I think this break was built in kind of record time. We had a hard-hitting alumni game before that. You had some rain, you had some sun. What was the ice like? What were the conditions like? And what are you expecting tomorrow that way? And how it might play into how the game's played?
The ice was, as I think you could see, it was soft. It was surprisingly, puck was surprisingly flat on it, and the guys commented that, given the conditions, that it was better than maybe we thought it might be. It was, again, it was soft, but puck was flat. They were passing it fine, and you know, the one situation is with the wetness of the ice like that, sliding for the goalies across the crease was something where Flower did say it's not the same slide. But given the situation, we were commenting that the ice was better than, it's pretty darn good for the conditions out there. And you know what? The ice is different in every rink, and we're ready to play. And I thought the boards and the conditions were fine to play a game. So it was an exciting day, and I put it up there with a lot of my best experiences in hockey being out there today. I had a great time.
We'll go Dan, and then we'll go to Rick.
Dan, there's a lot of matchups within this rivalry, and one of them is the coaches. I'm curious, what have you taken from all the matchups you've had with Bruce, and do you have a read on maybe what he's going to do because you've coached against him enough times?
Well, I mean, we've gone back, for a couple of years in Hershey. I played for Bruce for a couple games, and he was in the LA organization, so we've had conversations in the past, and we certainly coach a number of games against each other. I think their teams and the tendencies that they have, I'm not sure there's going to be any surprises between the two of us. How he likes to get his players out there. I guess the last game we played him, I was maybe a little bit surprised about the lineup that he did go with and some of the switches he did make for the lineup. But where he likes to get. I can guess when Ovechkin's going to get out there sometimes, get in the situation of the game and where the face-off is at. And, sometimes he does the double shift on you to get Ovechkin back out there. So there's some things that are going to happen in the game, but you talk about a talented team with some very good tendencies offensively, and he's seen that in his teams in Hershey as well.
Let's take 2 Seymour, one Nick, then Craig, and then Rob. Go ahead, Nick.
Could you just explain Letang, why he's made such a leap? Is it just maturity? Is it more opportunity with Gonchar gone, or is there more beyond that?
I think I would say that I was probably a little disappointed with his year last year. I thought you'd see this in greater colors last year. He came in the playoffs. He came on, and I believe he got 5 goals in the playoffs and had the type of playoff that you're seeing him play right now. But defense is a hard position. It's a tough one. Sometimes even the second year through is even a little bit more tough than the first year. And the maturity and growth of a player, sometimes the defense especially doesn't happen like the way you'd like to or the way they like to. And you're seeing a guy, he's had the confidence to play this game last year, but you're seeing him, I think, consistently add both offensively and defensively. And 2 years ago he was a stalwart for us defensively, not so much offensively in the playoffs. He was shutting down Hosa's line and did an outstanding job at that. Didn't get a lot of recognition for it, but we knew the job he did on Hosa in the playoffs and in that playoff year. Last year, didn't have the numbers years that I think he was hoping to have. There was a contract in there and some other things that may have affected his year, but you're seeing a confident guy who can skate, can defend, skates so well both sides of the puck, and really can shoot it, and you're seeing that consistently, so we're not surprised to see it. We hope to continue to see it.
Craig, go ahead.
Dan, I'm sure Jordan really wants to get back in this game. He's pushing you to play in what could be, once in a lifetime opportunity. How do you balance that with him returning in kind of different conditions, that kind of thing?
Considering the fact that it's his first game coming up and hasn't had a training camp and has gone through the injuries, it's more difficult versus if he'd been out for a training camp and played 20 games and then missed 15. So that it's tough to figure out where to put a guy back in who hasn't had a training camp and hasn't played, and the confidence level with the injuries that he's had and the one that he's coming off of are issues going in. So that's a little answer to Shelley's question too.
Last one, Rob.
And where do you stand when he does come back, whether it's tomorrow of him playing with Gino, which I believe part of the plan?
That still is the plan. That we've had discussions about when he does get back, what kind of role he'd be played in, and I don't think we'd put him in a 20-minute, 19-minute role that he's been in the past, but I could see him jumping right into 14 to 16 minutes penalty killing and playing center with Malkin on the wing.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Dan.